Hi there, Danny here, and today we're adding another episode to our bike fit and bike sizing playlist. I love riding my bike because I like it and it fits me, and it's so crucial for all of us who want to be cycling not for a year or two but for a whole life. So today we're talking about the saddle position. First off, I'm gonna give you 4 main methods on how to find out the right height of the saddle, and then a bit more about saddle fore-aft position and saddle tilt. And finally, I'm gonna give you just a bit more advanced information for those who are training and racing on different bikes. Now, we started our playlist with setting the right position for our cleats because pedals are not moving anywhere. So once you have chosen the crank arm length, you have to have the right position on your cleats. So if you haven't seen that episode, start with this one, because now when my cleats are on the right position, I have my pedals and have my crankset, there will be only 2 things I'm going to be moving. That's the saddle and that's the handlebar. So let's start with the saddle and the first super basic method. Actually, no one would really need to use this one, because even if you go to some local store, they will have some knowledge about it. But let's say you don't have, or in the local store they don't have very high quality service, and you want to find out the right saddle height, like the starting position for yourself, and just bike the bike and cycle home. You just put your heels on the pedals, and you want to have your crank arms like in the 6 o'clock position and your knee roughly straight. Now, this is only starting position and it's quite inaccurate method, but it will just give you some kind of idea or where you should sit. 2 important things here are that you should be really sitting on the bike, like sitting with the weight of your butt on the saddle. So having turbo trainer is a great idea, or just having someone supporting you or supporting yourself against the wall is just great, because when you put the heels on the pedals, you should pedal a little bit, finding out whether your pelvis is rocking from side to side or not. As you can see, my knee is straight and my pelvis is rocking, which indicates that my saddle is perhaps too high. And for someone starting their journey with cycling, it would be too high. For myself, it's okay. So as I'm saying, this method is not super accurate, but if you are just starting, you should lower the saddle, so that your pelvis won't be rocking. But as I said, inaccurate, and just to start with. Now, the second method and the third method will be very similar, quite easy and quite accurate actually. What you want to do is that you want to measure your inseam length. The problem with this on many tutorials and on the internet is that, of course, you do it without your shoes put on, so no shoes on your feet, and you wanna use something to indicate the inseam height on the wall. Cannondale catalog is just great for that, because it has this 90 degree angle, and when I'm putting this one, I'm not having any shoes, I'm putting anything like the catalog or book just here, just as I would be sitting on my catalog. Then the tip of my catalog is pointing the inseam length. So when I'm standing just against the wall, I can mark it on the wall and then measure it with the measuring tape, how long my inseam is. 2 problems here is that some tutorials would tell you to stand with your feet shoulders apart, and some do it just like this. And just be aware that it will give you slightly different inseam, because inseam is actually like your inner leg length, right? So when we are standing like this and measuring this distance, it will be different than my inner leg length. None of this method is better, but you just should be aware that these are 2 different lengths. Another thing is here also that most of the beginning cyclists would do the mistake of not really pushing, applying some force against our groins, because when we are sitting, we do really apply some force on the saddle, and your inseam would be like too short. So make sure you feel just not pain, but you feel that you are really there. You are really sitting on it. Sorry guys, I'm back. My GoPro battery backpack is dying so quickly, and no wonder I didn't recommend that one in the test. So my inseam length is the 87 centimeters. So that's this distance here without my shoes, right? And now what we can simply do, the first method is my inseam minus 10 centimeters. That would give me 87 minus 10, that's 77 centimeters. And that's the distance from the center of the crank axle, not the crank arm, not the pedal, the center of the crank axle here to the surface of my saddle. So that's the surface which I'm sitting on, right? And it's quite accurate. It's so easy, but it's quite accurate. I'm actually having now 76.5, and this method indicates 77. So I'm just like 5 millimeters below. Quite accurate, quite good one. But remember, I've been riding for many months now, after like 18 hours break, so I'm already back into my flexibility and strength. So maybe starting point will be even lower than that. Second method is the Greg-LeMond's method, and that means your inseam multiplied by 0.883. And that actually gives me just around 76 point something, like 7 or 8 centimeters. It's quite accurate, and it's so good. It will just fit for more of the cyclists. So first method, that would be this heel on the pedal method. Inaccurate, but just to give you any idea of where the saddle height should be, where your saddle should be. The second one, inseam minus 10 centimeters, and then we measure from the front, from the center of the axle to the surface of the saddle. Third one, inseam multiplied by 0.883, same distance, axle, saddle. And then the fourth one, super easy. I'm giving you the link to the quite nice and easy website calculator where you can just roughly estimate your saddle height. So that would be it about the saddle heights. I'm going to give you some more information just after a couple of minutes, but now the saddle tilt. Quite easy. It should be leveled, roughly leveled. Somehow I personally don't agree with this one, because my saddles have to always be going a bit down, so that the tip of the saddle is always a bit lower than this area here. So that's just for the kind of the saddle, the models of the saddle I'm using. And when I'm having my saddle just like completely flat and you know, leveled, I do feel some numbness in my crotch. It doesn't feel well for myself. It's much more difficult for me to go into some aero position. It will really depend a lot on the gender, on the kind of the saddle you are using, and of course the position on your bike. So the more aero, the more you know, pressure you can feel here. Also, while you are just riding with some nice load, like you are hitting some 200, 250, 300 watts, you will sometimes feel what's happening with your butt on the saddle, and then you will know whether the saddle is in the right position and the tilting is just okay. When my tip of the saddle goes a bit down, I can feel like I can press a bit against my saddle, of course a bit more weight on my arms. It puts a bit more weight on my arms, but I feel like really balanced on it. So that's just my way, but basic rule of thumb is the leveled saddle. And now for aft position, quite important one, but also very easy to find out your starting position. Once more, I'm going to be really repeating this starting position words. Okay, my crank arms are leveled. I have some line with just some weight on it, like some screws here, and two methods here. Some would say, some bike feeders would say that you wanna go down with your line from the like frontal surface of your kneecap, and the line should be pointing the axle of your pedal. It's roughly pointing the axle of the pedal in my case. Others would tell you that you go down with this line from the bottom edge of your kneecap, which will slightly turn this line like backwards. So once more, it's not super accurate. Everything has more than 2 methods, but it will also show you where your saddle roughly should be. As you can see, that would be way too much to the front, that would be too much to the rear. This is just balanced. And also, after you do it, as I said, when you are doing some like not maybe power intervals, but when you are really pushing your pedals, you will then feel what your body would like to do with your knees and where your butt should be. I was with my saddle a bit much to the front, and I didn't even have to use this method after replacing the saddle, because I was just, you know, pushing myself to the back. So my body just told me that this wasn't the right position. All about knee pain and other pains that we can experience. You can find in other episodes, very important ones. And now just a couple of more informations. First one, the most important one. Those infos I just gave you here, this is like starting position for yourself. Then you are applying it to your bike, to your riding style. Mountain bike will be different. Maybe you would like to have your saddle a bit lower. Maybe. It will be different on the hardtail, it will be different on the full suspension bike, it will be different on enduro bike. Of course, difference between downhill and cross country will be huge, because different kind of pedaling, different position on the bike. So this just gives you some kind of idea what's happening with our body, with our knees, and how to avoid any pains. One more, the more aero we are, or the more, you know, the lower our handlebar is, we should also remember that our pelvis changing the position. It's not only our back that is bending, but the pelvis as well. Let me show you some simple fact. When I'm finding the pivot of my hip here, so that's the pivot which is not moving around while I'm spinning, that should be roughly here. I feel it, it's there. But then when I'm putting myself into, let's say, time trial position, I feel that it's gone. My finger is still there on my skin, but the pivot is gone. The pivot is gone. It went up and towards the back, like backwards. So it changes, and then the position of the saddle should be different once more. So we don't really have to know what should be the angle between those 3 pivots, like ankle, knee and hip. It's good to know it, of course. It's good to have goniometer, but you don't really need it. If you know your starting position and then you train, you will feel comfortable, you will feel no pain, you will feel no numbness in your feet, in your groins or crotch. Then you will see, okay, that's fine for me. As for myself, if you know me, guys, last year I came back to cycling, to really training, and this year I started racing once more. My saddle height was like 1.5 centimeters lower than it is right now, because my flexibility changed like rapidly when I came back to cycling, and it changes. So as long as you are doing different type of I don't know, interval cycling, you just train more, your strength, your flexibility changes. I also do now a lot of core exercises and stretching exercises, so aero position is no problem for me. Then my position on the bike can change, and I really felt I could have gone a bit higher with my saddle. Doesn't mean the higher the better, it just felt right for me. And what I'm having right now on my bike is just super comfortable. I feel I can go like 200 kilometers with no problem. One more thing is also, remember that your pedals and your shoes have some kind of stack, some kind of thickness. And when you change the pedals, you change the stack of the pedals, you change your shoes and cleats, the thickness of it will change, and then you can feel once more not that good on your saddle height, which was already set. So remember about that, and it's always good to check what's the stack of your pedals when you are purchasing them. I made another episode about that one because I just forgot about it when I changed my pedals to some like old Shimano 515 SPDs. That's roughly all I wanted to tell you. Guys, let me know in the comment sections, do you have any problems with setting the height of your saddle? Please share this video because it's really important for everyone who is training and even like beginning cyclist. And also, if you let us know about any adjustments that you made on your bike and it made you more comfortable, maybe even faster, that would be really much appreciated in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, thanks for a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.